I don't know about you, Fleabag, but I'm ready to do some damn damage today. Although I do have this muck and gook in my throat from the COVID. God, man, it's been like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks. I can't shake it, man. I just can't shake it. Yeah, I'm ready. Are you ready? Okay, let's do it.
From Hollywood, welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
All right. I'll admit it. Living in Los Angeles really is a riot. All right, who's ready to go on another action-packed adventure?
Let's do it.
Here's what's on tap on the Wrap. So how was it hanging out in L.A. over the weekend? I'll fill you in. You better hold on to your Hooters, gentlemen, if you got them. And have you heard the story about Bonnie Blue? Well, you're about to. And are people going back to the movies finally? Maybe. We'll explore it. The NBA and NHL finals are getting very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Another round of head traumas on the way. We'll do Total Recall coming up. Plus our usual loose behavior. Heard it on the X. Celebrity Cheese, your outrageous and salacious email from our Gmail. One more thing, and we've got shout-outs to Rat Nation and the Resistance. It's all coming up for Monday, June 9th here on the Rat's Ass Podcast. Thanks for being here. You know, our Rat Nation membership is now up to 337 members. It's very exciting for us. Radio Wars is also happening on the Rat's Ass Podcast blog. Have you been following this? We are looking for the best classic rock radio station in the USA. New battles happen every Monday and Thursday. Today kicks off a new one in Chicago, WDRV, The Drive versus KIOT in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Albuquerque. Market 3 versus Market 72. We're going to find out if size really does matter in this battle, too. Go to ratsasspodcast.com to sign up for Rat Nation and to see how Radio Wars plays out. All right, how was your weekend? Mine blew by so fast. I swear to God, it went by like we only had one day. That's what it felt like. But yesterday I hung out at Neptune's Net near Zuma Beach with my pals Moose Knuckle Mike and his wife Camel Toe Candy, and we got serviced by our favorite waitress. Yep, Fat Vagina was there, working on a Sunday, no doubt. Watching the LA riots with us, the peaceful protests on TV. And I assume you're familiar with all the stuff that's going on here in Southern California, but I'll fill you in from my perspective because I live here. Now, it all started when ICE rolled into LA to bust a few bad hombres on Friday who were doing illegal activities from an LA business complex. I guess some illegals and some protesters got wind of it, and they lined the road and started throwing, bottles, rocks, bricks, anything they could find, hammers, at the ICE vehicles in Paramount, California. ICE actually picked up the phone and asked for help from the LAPD, and they were refused. Our Mayor Karen Bass told them to stand down. Yeah, the lady that was involved with the fires in Pacific Palisades, Malibu, and Altadena. That one. So, naturally, they were feeling threatened. They didn't feel safe. So what do the feds do if they can't get local assistance? They went back and called D.C. for the feds. And Trump authorized 2,000 National Guards to help protect the ICE agents. So this is when our slumlord Governor Gavin Newsom and Bass jumped on local TV and social media to start denouncing Trump for ordering the National Guard to deflect from their incompetence, for not doing a damn thing. Because what Bass and I think Newsom thought was, hey, just let the ICE do battle with the illegals and the protesters. They'll chase them out and we'll be done with it. They didn't count on them calling Trump for backup. And that's why it got out of control. Because by the time Bass and Newsom got involved and got the LAPD and the CHP to answer, they'd already blocked the 110 freeway. And if you watch some of the footage on this, you'll see where the officers actually took cover in the overpass because people were, they're dumping liquids, probably urinating. They were dropping bricks. Again, anything they could find on the cop cars and setting them on fire too. The peaceful protest that they call it. Then you add the people who go from protest to protest, paid for the underground forces like George Soros, for an example, and then you add more chaos, more upheaval. Now, this is going to get worse, I think, before it gets better. Who knows what's going on now as we do this podcast. But Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass did nothing to shut the illegals down immediately, and that's why we're having the upheaval that we're experiencing right now. The buck does stop with them. They are the locals. They are the governor and the mayor. Okay, but they're always going to try and deflect blame to somebody else. Now, on top of this now, we have the U.S. flag being burned on U.S. soil by illegals, and they're waving foreign flags. Now, as far as I'm concerned, when that crap starts to happen, that's justification for the National Guard and possibly the U.S. military. doing what they need to do to calm things down and end this crap by the despicable Democrats. I mean, they want this. They want this because now it puts them back on the national map. No such thing as bad press. Remember that. Democrats have been silent. They've been kind of pushed off and held down ever since November. And now with this thing with Elon Musk and now this, Democrats they've now got a platform that they can scream their nonsense about Trump. And that's what they wanted. So now you know, from my perspective. So now we can get on with the show. All right, did you hear Hooters is closing 30 locations in 12 states? They filed for bankruptcy, and I guess this is part of it. But if you have one in your area and you enjoy it, you got to keep going, gentlemen, or it's going to go away. So start showing up for your burgers and brew. And, God, I calculate 30 closing means that's probably, approximately 1,500 unemployed boobs coming up. I mean, come on, it's not right. Now, if you're not familiar with the story about Bonnie Blue, you're about to. Bonnie loves trains, the kind where she takes on hundreds of men at a time. We talked about her last week. Her recent accomplishment was doing 1,000 men in 24 hours. Are you disgusted like I am about this? Well, we're still going to tell you about it because these are the kind of things that we look for here on the Rat's Ass Podcast to share with you. This Sunday, on Father's Day, Bonnie is going to attempt to do 2,000 men in 24 hours. Now, I've already done the math on this again for you. That's 83 guys in an hour, or 83 guys per hour, or approximately 7.2 seconds per guy. A guy asked me at the net yesterday, he says, what do you call a girl like this? And I said, sore. It appears Americans are going back to the movies. The top 5 movies right now have grossed almost $1 billion so far. Probably after this Father's Day weekend, they'll be well over $1 billion. Just these 5 movies by themselves. Number 1 right now is Lilo and Stitch. From the world of John Wick. God, I love these John Wick movies. But Ballerina is number 2. Mission Impossible checked in at number 3 with Tom Cruise. The Final Reckoning, The Karate Kid Legends, and Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, all of these shows have been around for a while. People are familiar with the franchises. But, man, they're doing really well. Then you add Thunderbolts and Sinners to the list, and you're well over $1 billion, and we're not into the summer movie season really yet. I mean, that really gets started around the 4th of July, but I'll tell you what, man, they closed my local movie theater down because nobody was going to the movies. So instead of going to a mile to see a movie, I now got to go 8 miles to see a movie. And, God, I hate in California where we're paying $5 a gallon for gas. You just can't win for losing sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. Just can't win for losing sometimes.
It's too bad ICE hasn't arrested him yet. Here is the world-famous Mojo Elliott with Rat Sports.
Oh, boy, did I miss you over the weekend, Alexa. As far as she knows. All right, the NBA and NHL Finals are now a best-of-5 series. Oklahoma City evened up their series with Indiana by taking down the Pacers last night. OKC's smothering defense was too much for Indiana to handle. Game 3 of the NBA Finals is on Wednesday. How about the Stanley Cup Finals? Florida and Edmonton. It's everything I told you it was going to be. 2 evenly matched teams. We had 2 games. Series tied 1-1. Both games decided in overtime. That's awesome. Then you got the whole USA versus Canada thing. I mean, this series really has it all. Game 3 is tonight in Florida. And I got to do a shout-out to my Cincinnati Reds for sweeping Arizona over the weekend. They're now back to 500 at 3-3 on the year. Their record feels worse than 3-3, though, or 33-33. But they got 96 games to go. They got to win 57 of their last 96 to have a shot at the playoffs. But I'll tell you what, man, I really think they can do this. I think they can do it.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, today we're playing a round of Total Recall. This is where I give you 4 historical events, and you have to put them in the order they happened from first to last. All right, here are the events. The Boston Red Sox win their first World Series since 1918. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, won an Oscar. Norah Jones won a Grammy with the Come Away With Me album. George W. Bush won re-election and remains President of the United States. All right, let's do those again. The Boston Red Sox win their first World Series since 1918. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, wins an Oscar. Norah Jones wins a Grammy for Best Album for Come Away With Me. And George W. Bush wins re-election to remain President of the United States. All right, kick it around, and I'll have the answer for you coming up a little bit later on the podcast.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
All right, let's get into it. Let's see what's happening on the Rat's Ass Podcast X feed. We call it Saw It on the X. All right, Johnny Cadillac posted this one. If you were forced to wear a warning label, what would yours say? Nick Lozano said, Warning, if you pull my finger, I'm not responsible for what my ass does. I mean, who is, really? Andy Parr, the demons in my head are telling me to kill. Again. Love that one. That should be on a T-shirt. All right, Connie Klingman said, don't make me go Maxine Waters on your ass. Maxine Waters, boy, was she involved in the riots this weekend. She was down there walking around trying to get into government buildings, and they kept like going, get out of here, get out of here. All right, well, I thought about what mine would say, and I think it would be, caution. Objects may appear to be larger than they actually are. Oh, hey, look, it's the rat phone. Looks like my friend Lustin Justin is calling in. Justin, what's up?
I got fired from the bank today.
Oh, really? What happened?
A woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her.
Oh, get out of here.
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
All right, Justin Bieber took to Instagram over the weekend and started posting about being tired of transactional relationships. I mean, in short, he's tired of vultures who make money off of him, trying to suck him back into the limelight. You know, Bieber doesn't need the work anymore. He's paid the price for fame, and now he kind of wants to just kick back and chill with his $300 million. But, you know, in the entertainment business, the vultures who make money off of these guys, they just keep coming at him. And he's like going, hey, guys, go chase the wind. And, I can't blame him. But they're going to keep coming because he's only 31 years old, and he's a meal ticket for them. The Tony Awards took place last night, but no one cared. More people tuned in to watch the LA riots on TV. On Saturday, Sean P. Diddy Combs' defense team moved for a mistrial, claiming the prosecution presented untrue testimony. Now, while on the stand, Cassie Ventura testified she saw Combs holding Brianna Bongolian over a balcony, and it was discovered that Ventura actually texted Combs' assistant employee saying that she heard about the incident, didn't actually see it. So the judge is expected to rule on the mistrial tomorrow or Tuesday. Are you starting to get the feeling that Combs is going to pull an OJ on this one and walk? Okay, this one is a little sick and twisted. Apparently, Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee and his wife Brittany Ferlin worked out their differences and they're working on their marriage, but they used AI platform ChatGPT for counseling. Now they're using ChatGPT to spice up their love life in the bedroom by using it to create sexual situations for them to play out or act out. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, does anybody just screw anymore? Why does sex have to be this mind-blowing action movie where you feel like you're dangling from an airplane 25,000 feet up without a parachute? Why? I just don't get it. I really don't.
This is such a crock of shit.
Hey, would you believe Britney Spears has now been single for 110 days?
Who gives a rat's ass?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, as you know, I do not read your email in advance. Fleabag forwards me your name, where you're from, and edits them down so I can read them rapid fire and on the fly. All right, Jake H. from Memphis, Tennessee said, on your radio wars, do you think it's fair to judge a station on 1 hour of music and permanently eliminate them? Why not do a double elimination type playoff? Well, I appreciate the suggestion, but the way I'm wired, Jake, a radio station should be on point 100% of the time, meaning every hour is as good as the last. And if they're not, it doesn't matter if I give them another hour or not. It's still going to suck. So we're only going to give them one opportunity. If they really want to get involved in this competition, then they have to focus. I'm like Mr. Miyagi. You got to focus, Daniel. Every radio station must focus for 168 hours a week because you never know when I'm listening. All right, Heather T. from Greensboro, North Carolina said, I saw Becoming Led Zeppelin this weekend on Netflix. My husband and I are huge fans and really liked it. Thanks for tipping us off on X. Well, first of all, thanks for following on X, Heather. But yeah, it's one of the better rock documentaries out there because it's narrated by the remaining members of Led Zeppelin. Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, plus they have that lost footage that nobody's ever heard before from John Bonham. It's really a real well-done documentary, but the story's not in the doc. Were the ones about, the devious stuff that they did when they hung out on the Sunset Strip here in Hollywood. When they first came to America, they were just like, we're free. We just escaped London, and we're ready to just party like animals. And they did. I mean, the stories are that, Drunk and Disorderly is calling it lightly. The defiling of American women was pretty lewd and crude. Sometimes you can read watch some other documentaries and hear about this stuff. You can read about it too, but it's apparently all true that they were heathens when they were here in the United States. All right, and I remember, back in '87. This is before Gretzky got to L.A. and Bruce McNall owned the Kings, the LA Kings hockey team. I was at a game, and this is when you're in the media and you get into the press box or the media box, and Robert Plant walked in with Bruce McNall. I looked around, I saw this big, tall guy, had this big mane of like lion blonde hair, and when he turned around, there he was, Robert Plant in the flesh. Seemed to be having a friendly conversation about rock and roll. All right, Jennifer G., Glendale, Arizona. Why are men so obsessed with a woman's body count? Well, I'm going to be honest with you on this one, Jennifer. Men don't want to be compared, and we know your girlfriends and you get together and talk like banshees. Oh, yeah, we've got a track record of this. I mean, every female women's magazine, every show, you all talk about how you compare your men, and we just don't like to be compared. You know, guys, we have a body count, but we don't go around comparing you. It basically happens, it's done, we move on. But we hear all the stories about, you know, if you've been with 2 guys, you're comparing. If you've been with 5, 10, 15, 100 guys, you're comparing. Bonnie Blue really has some people to compare to. But that's really the honest answer. Guys just don't like to be compared. I mean, would you like being compared? Think about it. Ian P., Bradford, England, says, I'm coming to America to visit a girl I met here who is from Ohio. Here's the catch. She doesn't know I'm coming. Oh, God. Should I give her a heads up or go ahead with my surprise? Man, I think you're nuts, Ian, if you do. I mean, think about it. It's a long way to travel only to find out that maybe she's out of town or has maybe another guy that she lives with that she never told you about. I mean, how awkward would that be? I mean, I get the surprise element here, but I'm going to err on the side of conscience on this one. So I'm sorry to be a poopster for you. Patty S. from Kilkenny, Ireland said, you mentioned Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi were moving back to the United States from England. Any chance you'll take Rosie O'Donnell back? God, everybody from Ireland wants to know how we can get rid of Rosie O'Donnell. It's funny to me. But, well, she's an American citizen, Patty. So if you guys drive her out like England did Ellen and Portia, I guess our only recourse is to take her back, or maybe she'll grab a boat and go Greta and head to Gaza. Who knows? But it's going to be up to you guys to push her out. All right, Scott B., Huntington Beach, California, said, what do you think about the Lakers picking up Chris Paul? Oh, my God, Chris Paul. You know, he's had a decent career, but he's done. Chris Paul's done. I mean, he's 40 years old. He's playing in a young men's league, and the only person over 40 is LeBron James. That's the exception to the rule, not Chris Paul. I mean, what has Paul ever won? He has 0 NBA championships, but every year somebody signs him and they think he's the difference maker to push him over the edge to win a championship, and it never happens. So I don't see him really helping the Lakers win a title at 40, and I'd like to see the Lakers use that money elsewhere, to be quite honest with you. All right, if you have any questions or comments, please send them to my producer, Fleabag, at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. The more outrageous and salacious, as you know, is always the better.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, the name of the game today is called Total Recall. I gave you 4 historical events, and you are supposed to put them in the order they happened first to last. They were: the Boston Red Sox win their first World Series since 1918. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, won an Oscar. Norah Jones won the Grammy for Best Album for Come Away With Me, and George W. Bush won re-election to remain President of the United States of America. All right, did you figure it out? If you said Norah Jones, Lord of the Rings, Boston Red Sox, and George W. Bush,
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
congratulations. But if you missed it, go see a doctor about your head trauma and get well soon. All right, I got a split because I'm playing a pool boy today and a sitcom pilot, but I do have one more thing for you. Did you know the most talked about line in movies is "Let's get out of here"?
Good idea. Do your shout-outs to Rat Nation so we can get out of here.
Why, do you have someplace you got to be?
Yeah, I want to go watch the riots. It's great TV.
Yeah, I agree. It is great TV. What are you looking for?
I want to see Slumlord Governor Gavin Newsom put in cuffs and hold off to the pokey.
Yeah, that would be some great TV right there. I'd like to see that. All right, welcome to Rat Nation, to Wyatt Starr of Oceanside, Maryland, Kim Cunningham from Corvallis, Oregon, Steve Chance from Norfolk, Nebraska, and to the Resistance, those of you who emailed us but haven't joined Rat Nation yet. Cindy H. from Farmington, New Mexico, Jeremy S. Woodbury, Minnesota, and Kemper K. from Muncie, Indiana, and around the world to listeners in the Cayman Islands, Mexico, Spain, and Australia. Thanks for listening and being a part of the Rat's Ass Podcast.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
All right, that's it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Be sure to check out the new ratsasspodcast.com. to connect with us on the socials, listen to the podcast, join Rat Nation, and read the blog. It is loaded with current events, pop culture, music, concert info, the radio wars, sports, our Q&A, Battle of the Sexes, plus the Dumbass Awards for 2025 so far. We'll do this again on Wednesday, June 11th. Take care of each other, and thanks for dropping by the Rat's Ass Podcast.
The conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.